Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Watch my video and subscribe my channel. Have you ever been caught between two people you love, and no matter what you choose, someone ends up heartbroken? That's me right now. One man, Carter, gives me everything I could ever want. Stability, love, a future. But the other, Liam, he's my past, my heartbreak, the father of my little girl. And tonight my daughter, Beth, looks at me and asks the question that changes everything. Mommy, why don't you just marry Daddy? Now I have to decide, do I follow my heart, or do I do what's right for my family? You won't believe what happens next. I'll never forget that day. Not because it was sunny or quiet, not because the coffee smelled good or the runway at Forrester was buzzing with fabrics and sketches. It's because of the heartbreak. Real, gut-wrenching heartbreak. The kind that doesn't just make your chest ache, it makes your hands shake and your stomach drop in a way that feels like your entire body is betraying you. I had been sitting at Forrester Creations, Carter hovering near me like he always does, his bright eyes filled with excitement, his hands gesturing wildly as he explained plans for our wedding. I had tried to match his energy. I really had. I wanted to believe that I could be the excited fiancé, that I could step forward into the life he was building for us, the life we had dreamed about. Let's do it, Hope. Today, he said, practically bouncing on the balls of his feet. We've got everything lined up. Just us, the city, the sky, our friends. Let's get married today. And I froze. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to run into his arms and just let him sweep me away into the kind of fairy tale I had always thought existed. But I couldn't. My heart was somewhere else, tangled up in memories that Carter would never fully understand. Memories of Liam, of Beth, of the nights when nothing else in the world mattered but holding each other close and surviving the unimaginable. I swallowed hard, trying to keep my voice steady. Carter, we should probably plan first. He blinked, a little taken aback, but he didn't frown. He leaned closer and said softly, then let's plan. Let's make it perfect. Even then, I could see it in his eyes, he knew. He knew that my hesitation wasn't about the planning. It was about Liam. It was about Beth. And in that instant, my phone buzzed. A message from Liam. Simple, innocent, urgent. It made my chest tighten the way it always did when he appeared in my life, even in text form. Beth's ready for her dance. She wants her family there. Tonight. I couldn't ignore it. Not now. Carter noticed the change in me immediately. His brow furrowed slightly, but instead of anger, he softened. You need to go, he said. His voice broke a little, just enough to make my stomach twist. Tonight it's about her. Your daughter. You don't have to worry about me. The tears came before I even realized it. I tried to blink them away, tried to tell myself I was strong enough to handle it, but Carter stepped closer, gently removed my engagement ring, kissed my hand, and whispered, Goodbye, Hope. And then he left. I barely remember the drive home. The streets blurred past me. I kept looking at my phone, at Liam's messages, at Beth's little face, smiling up from the photos he had sent. Tonight. Sunset. Our dance. I pressed my foot a little too hard on the brake at one red light, and it was as if my entire body was trying to process what had just happened, what I had just lost, and what I was about to give back. When I got to Brooke's house, the scene was almost magical. Punch in clear glass bowls, cookies lined up like soldiers, balloons floating lazily in the living room. Liam was there, his eyes lighting up when he saw me, though I'm sure he noticed the absence of my ring immediately. Beth was twirling in her little dress, hair slightly mussed from excitement, cheeks glowing, eyes bright. She looked like she was in a little world all her own. Mommy! She squealed when she saw me, running forward, spinning slightly before crashing into my arms. Her tiny arms wrapped around my neck, and in that moment, it wasn't about Carter, it wasn't about Liam, it was about her. Always about her. Gorgeous, Liam murmured softly, watching her spin. He caught her mid-twirl and spun her back into his arms. Just like your mother. I laughed softly, a little shaky, because his voice, Liam's voice, it's like coming home after a long, exhausting journey. It's warm. It's safe. and it's terrifying all at once. Beth tugged at Liam's sleeve, eyes wide. Daddy, can you get Mommy to come dance with me? Liam sent a quick text to me, explaining everything while keeping his tone calm, soothing. We'll have fun tonight. We'll love her even if we aren't together. Just let her have this. And I nodded, though he couldn't see me. My hands rested on Beth's tiny shoulders, squeezing gently. Tonight it's about her. Always her. We started the dance party. Beth led, Liam followed, and I hung back for a moment, just watching them, drinking in the happiness that I had almost let slip through my fingers. There were cookies crumbled on the table, balloons brushing against the ceiling, and I felt a strange kind of peace amidst the heartbreak. Meanwhile, at Il Giardino, life was carrying on in a completely different rhythm. Daphne had texted Carter, suggesting he might join her for an open mic night if he wasn't busy with me. Deacon had restarted the open mic since Tom's death, and the cafe buzzed with energy, laughter, and the strumming of guitars. It was normal life, contrasting sharply with the emotional storm that had just swept through mine. Carter walked in eventually, glancing around until he saw Daphne crooning on stage. Her voice hit him in a way that made his usual bravado melt just a little. After her set, she joined him, and he admitted softly, "You were right about everything. I'm just a loser in love." Daphne smiled, reaching for his hand. "Are you?" He hesitated, then laughed softly, shaking his head. "Not in life, just in love." And I, miles away, was realizing that sometimes love doesn't work out the way you plan. Sometimes the person who gives you everything you think you need isn't the person who belongs in your heart. Back at Forrester, another bombshell awaited. Katie, with her usual mixture of calm determination and motherly fierceness, had barged in. Brooke gushed about hope for the future being reinstated, but Katie had bigger news. Against Bill's wishes, and with Ridge trying to process it all, Katie revealed that Luna was alive. The room went silent. My mind raced. Connections, betrayals, secrets I didn't yet fully understand. And through it all, I realized just how fragile this life really is. People you think are gone can come back. Decisions you think are permanent can be undone. And the heart, it always finds its way back to the people it truly loves. I didn't move immediately. I just stood in the doorway, watching Liam and Beth laugh as they twirled across the living room floor. Punch splashed in glasses, a few balloons brushed against the ceiling, and the soft notes of music swirled around us. And yet I felt frozen. Carter had just left, my engagement ring gone, and my chest ached in a way that words can't capture. I had loved him. I loved him in the steady, reliable, gentle way that makes you feel safe, but not reckless. He had believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. He had fought for me when I didn't know how to fight for me. And I had let him go, because my heart, it wasn't his to take anymore. It belonged to Liam. I know how that must sound. Ridiculous, impossible, messy, but that's the truth. Every time I watch him with Beth, see the way he smiles when she spins under his arms, I remember why I fell in love with him. Not just the charming, flirtatious parts, the stolen kisses and soft hands brushing mine, but the way he survives the worst of life and somehow still finds the light. He's resilient. And Beth, she's the living, breathing proof of our love. Beth ran to me then, tugging my hand. "Mommy, come dance with me." I knelt to her height, brushing a stray curl from her forehead, and whispered, "Of course, sweetheart." She grabbed my hand, dragging me into the center of the room, and the laughter we shared, the three of us together, was so pure, so alive that for a moment all the heartbreak evaporated. For a moment I felt normal. But then Liam's eyes met mine across the room, and suddenly normal felt like a cruel joke. He smiled, softly, almost wistfully, and in that smile I saw every memory we had made together, every tear we had cried, every sleepless night, every moment we had clung to each other when it felt like the world had fallen apart. My heart twisted painfully. I remembered the nights after Beth's death, the nights when we held each other and cried until our faces were raw, and our throats hoarse. The despair that had threatened to swallow us whole. And then the impossible relief, the joy, the absolute disbelief when she was returned to us. Liam had been unwavering. He had been my anchor, my home. I realized then what Carter had understood all along. My heart doesn't move in neat lines. It doesn't obey rules or timetables. It doesn't care about engagement rings or perfect wedding plans. My heart is chaotic, wild. It belongs to Liam. It always has. Beth jumped up, tugging at Liam's sleeve. "Daddy, dance with Mommy." Liam chuckled, crouching down to her height, and whispered, "All right, kiddo, let's make it happen." He extended a hand toward me, and the world seemed to narrow until it was just us three in that room, the three people who mattered most. When our hands met, the electricity was immediate, undeniable. The laughter faded, replaced by a quiet intimacy that I hadn't allowed myself to feel in weeks. In that moment, it wasn't about Carter or the engagement or Ridge, Brooke, or even Katie's shocking revelations about Luna. It was about this, the family we had fought so hard to protect, the family we had nearly lost, and the love that still survived despite everything. The slow music began, and Liam and I moved together naturally, our bodies remembering what our hearts already knew. Beth wiggled between us, twirling and giggling, and I pressed my face into Liam's chest, inhaling the familiar scent of him. It was like coming home after years of wandering through a world that had felt cold and unforgiving. And yet, guilt surged through me. Carter. I had just watched him walk away, selflessly, while my heart ran straight back to Liam. He had believed in us. He had believed in me. And I had shattered that trust without a second thought. I had to swallow the tears rising in my throat. I had to focus on Beth, on the warmth of her tiny hand in mine. She didn't deserve any more chaos than she had already endured. She had lived through the worst moments of our lives, and she deserved this. This laughter, this dance, this family, if only for tonight. Meanwhile, at Il Giardino, life was unfolding in a completely different rhythm. Daphne had started the open mic again, her voice rising over the gentle clatter of glasses and the low hum of conversation. Carter entered, quietly taking a seat in the back, eyes fixed on her as she performed. There was something in the way he watched her, the intensity and focus, that told me he was finally allowing himself a moment of reprieve from heartbreak. When her song ended, she approached him, smiling knowingly. "See? I told you it would be fine." Carter laughed softly, shaking his head. "You were right about everything. I'm just a loser in love." Daphne's hand reached for his. "Are you?" He hesitated, then exhaled slowly. "Not in life, just in love." Back at Brooks, I had allowed myself a rare smile as Liam and Beth guided me through the slow dance. The sunset was spilling through the windows, bathing the room in golden light. The colors caught in Beth's dress, in Liam's eyes, in the balloons floating lazily above us. It was perfect, pure. I realized something profound then. Happiness isn't always about grand gestures or idealized love stories. Sometimes it's about choosing the people who need you most, even when it breaks your heart in the process. Sometimes it's about being present, fully and unselfishly, for those who can't fend for themselves. Liam caught my gaze again, and this time there was no past argument, no heartbreak, no what-ifs. Just understanding. Just love. Beth leaned against my chest, whispering, "I love you, Mommy." "I love you too, sweetheart," I whispered back. And in that moment, I knew Carter's decision to step back, his ability to love selflessly, had given us this. He had given Beth her family, her memories, her mother and father together in a way she could feel whole. Later that evening, when the music softened and the dance ended, Liam and I sat on the couch, Beth tucked between us, her little arms draped across both of us. The room was quiet now, save for the soft hum of the city outside. "I can't believe she's here," I said softly, brushing a strand of hair from Beth's face. "She's ours," Liam said. And for the first time in weeks, I allowed myself to breathe fully, knowing that for this moment, This sunset, this dance, this laughter. Everything had fallen exactly where it needed to. Somewhere in the background, life continued. Daphne and Carter had found each other at Aiel Giardino. Katie had delivered the shocking news to Brooke and Ridge about Luna being alive. The world was chaotic, unpredictable, messy. But in that living room with Liam and Beth, I understood something simple and eternal. Love doesn't always follow the rules, and sometimes the heart knows what it wants long before you do. I held Liam's hand gently, Beth's other hand in mine, and whispered, "We'll get through this together." He smiled softly, pressing his lips to my forehead. Always. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I truly believed it.